All right, Siobhan. So let's get into our first topic. We're going to go out west. The Western Conference, it's a tough conference this year, and it seems like the race for the number one seed is going to come down to the final weeks and even all the way down to the play-in tournament. It's just if you go on a 2 or 3 game losing streak, you're going to fall pretty far from where you are in the standings. And it's just a close race that's going to come down to the last game of the season in terms of who's going to be seated where in the Western Conference. So, right now, let's talk about the top of that conference. So, Oklahoma City, the Denver Nuggets, and the Minnesota Timberwolves are still really close into the race. The Clippers are about 5 games behind, I believe, but it's going to come down to the wire. Do you think the Nuggets can take the number one seed before this season ends?
Yeah, I definitely think they can. I think their championship pedigree is speaking volumes right now. They've been doing really well in their head-to-head matchups against, some of the top teams. They did drop a few games, which is expected in a long regular season, especially with the type of talent you're playing on a night-to-night basis. They lost to the Mavericks by 2 points, one of the craziest game winners I've ever seen from Kyrie. And they're just playing good basketball right now. They also lost to the Suns, another talented team who can play good when they're actually clicking on all cylinders. But I think that they're just playing good in a lot of these key matchups. And I think the difference is their ability to out execute the other teams that they're facing against, mainly because you have Jokic, the centerpiece of everything that they do. His ability to stretch the floor, his ability to score down low in the post with a soft touch, have that like short roll floater, passing, obviously. And me and you were talking, and he's honestly underrated defensively. He may not be the most athletic, but he uses the tools that he does have. His wingspan, his strength, his body build. You talked to me about how he swipes at the ball and uses that as kind of like a disruptor, where most rim protectors would just use their physical presence, the vertical ability to intimidate and alter a shot. He does it in different ways, and he actually moves his feet pretty well. Like once you get into that free throw to the paint area, he's really good, and I think he can out physical a lot of people as well. His rebounding as well, especially offensively. Offensive rebounding stands out to me. He does a lot of volleyball tips to himself, and it's just those are just type of the things that kind of kill you and deflate you as a team because he'll do that and then put it right back in the basket after you played a very solid defensive possession. He just devastates you in many ways. And we're not even going to talk about like the fading shots he does from three with the shot clock running down. I think at this point, we all respect Jokic in this game, what I think a lot of people didn't last year. And he's a big reason why we respect the Nuggets as a whole. And just to go off the rest of them, that starting five may not out talent a lot of teams, but they just have people that know their role, accept their role, and do it exceptionally well. And like you talk about Murray and his ability to play the two game with Jokic, whether it's a DHO or if it's a pick and roll, and he's a very great over the top shot creator, can get his own. He's a 3 level scorer. He's athletic, can finish in between area and shoot for three. Michael Porter, he's a sniper, 6'10, 6'11, whatever they want to measure him as, he's just automatic. I know he shot 100% from the field in the game, and that kind of carried over into this great stretch they're doing. KCP, a 2-time champion at this point, 3-and-D, knows how to play and always contributing. And then Aaron Gordon, I think he's actually like the key to this team because I think he just finds space as well. He doesn't take the ball away from anybody. He's an easy target. So when Jokic is getting a lot of attention, like what else could you ask for as a guy that gets doubled? You have a 6'10 sniper, a 3-and-D guy that can shoot and, take a dribble and attack closeouts, get to the basket, over the top shot creator who can also space out, and you have a vertical threat at the basket. So like you have options no matter if they want to take away the three, then you got Gordon right under the basket who's going to finish everything. If they want to take away Gordon, you got three other perimeter threats that can make a play happen when you give it to them. So I just think they're so well pieced together and they've been very fun to watch. And I will say I was a little bit of a doubter last year, but just watching them after that championship run, it's just a pleasure to watch. They're one of the most fun and entertaining teams to watch. it's very impressive what they do. So I would imagine that they grab that number one spot, but I think they would love to have that home court advantage all the way throughout once again, because I think it plays to their favor with the altitude and they play very well at home. So I expect the Nuggets to grab number one.
Yeah, and to your point, the Nuggets, I think they have probably a top two or three starting five in the NBA. And they, like you just mentioned, their starting five just plays well off of each other. Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., KCP, Jokic, and Aaron Gordon, they just fit so well together, and they just play off of each other in a way that makes it tough to guard them. Their strengths complement each other, and they cover up each other's weaknesses very well. I think one of the downsides about the Nuggets that a lot of people talk about is their depth in terms of once you go to the bench,
Mhm.
what
That's the only
production are you going to
question.
get out of them? But other than that, I think this team is just so well put together and they play so well together that they understand, like you just mentioned, their execution down the stretch is the best in the NBA, in my opinion, in terms of when they want to turn it on, when they understand, like, we have to execute this play, we have to get a great shot this possession, we have to get a stop this possession. They get it. It's just like when they were playing the Celtics a few weeks back, they understood where they wanted to get to. And that game, the Celtics were missing shots, the Nuggets were missing shots. It was more like a rock fight, right? But what got the Nuggets through was their ability to execute down the stretch, but also get great shots. Like their shot chart in terms of, yeah, they will shoot a lot of threes, but most of them are catch and shoot wide open threes, or unless it's Murray, which who shoots a lot of off the dribble shots, but even him, he gets really close mid-range shots at the basket. Nikola Jokic, he gets whatever shot he wants. Like you mentioned, that little flip shot in the paint, how they use the screen and roll or the dribble handoff into a pocket pass to Jokic. And then when he's coming downhill, you have Aaron Gordon in that dunker spot. So you can get a lob. Jokic can float the ball. If they help in, he can kick it out to, like you said, KCP or Michael Porter Jr. for that catch and shoot jump shot. And Michael Porter Jr., like you just mentioned, is one of the best catch and shoot shooters that we have in the league. His percentages are really high, and his ability to shoot over people because he's so tall and his release point is at a very high point that it's really hard to contest his shot. So that team just works very well together. And defensively, like you said, I think, definitely KCP and Aaron Gordon are their best defenders, but Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. and Jokic, they play great team defense. And like you said, I think Jokic is underrated defensively. He's not the most athletic, like you said. He doesn't jump the highest. His foot speed isn't great, but he understands footwork and he understands where he needs to be on the court to help in the scheme of the defense. And he understands how to use his length to bother drivers or swipe at the ball or mess with a jump shot or use his strength to keep a guy from getting to his spot in the post or whatever the case may be. He's able to do that. So they just work very well together. I think that they have a really good shot to take that number one seed. The games that they have lost, they've been games that, like when Kyrie Irving hit that buzzer beater, that left hand runner shot or a hook shot. It looked kind of like a hook shot. So that was like one of the best shots I've seen, but
Bro,
it
that
was kind of
shot
like
was
a hook
ridiculous
into a push shot.
with the
But it was
left
amazing, man. With the left hand, like, yeah,
going away
he's
from the
amazing.
basket. That was
Yeah, he is
ridiculous.
definitely amazing. But now the Nuggets, they've had a lot of close games and they usually win them, but in games like that, somebody just hits a great shot. So
Mhm.
coming down to the wire, I think their execution is going to carry them through. And I think they really do have a shot at the number one seed. But the Oklahoma City Thunder, they've been playing very well, especially behind Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams, and the crew they have there. Chet Holmgren is having a great rookie season, and Lou Dort is great. Like their team works very well together. I
It
do
does.
think some experience when you get down to the end of the season and into the playoffs, that might matter a little bit more. But the Thunder are playing great, man, and it feels like the Thunder are gaining that experience, but it also kind of feels like they're how do I say it? They have it a little bit. Like they're winning close games. They're executing down the stretch. They're playing defense and getting back and hustling and all that stuff. And maybe it's just a little bit them just being young and not even thinking about the constant like they're just like we're coming at you and we're gonna play hard and we're gonna do what we got to do. But it's gonna be fun down coming down to the wire.